one of the great things I love about the program that we run. So yeah, we're in regional New South Wales. They're amazing people doing things all over the globe in our own backyard. Regional Australia, being in regional Australia is definitely no barrier to doing things globally. And that's why today we've got our favorite uncle, Uncle Knackers. Uncle Knackers just lives a couple of blocks from our offices, our A-team offices here in Sawtell. And yeah, has a great YouTube channel called DIY for Knuckleheads. So if you get a chance, if you haven't checked it out, jump on YouTube, check out DIY for Knuckleheads. Knackers, retired carpenter of 20 years.
Yes.
I'm just reading my stats here. You kicked off about 12 years ago.
Yep.
Over 240 videos. You've racked up around 330,000 subscribers.
Yep.
About 40 million views of your videos.
Yeah, close to,
accurate?
Yep. Getting there.
How did it all come to this? You want to fill in the crew on
what happened?
Yeah.
All right. So, so my previous life to YouTube was as a carpenter, and had my own business down in Melbourne and ran that for about 20 odd years. And then, due to certain circumstances, moved up here to Sawtell. And then when I moved here to Sawtell, I became a bit crook and the building carpentry business kind of ceased. So I didn't want to waste 20 years of experience. So I decided that I'd heard about this little YouTube thing and thought, well, I don't want to waste 20 years worth of experience. So I jumped on YouTube, gave it a bit of a crack, and before I knew it, things started to snowball. And I thought, hang on a sec, I can probably make a living out of this. And here I am 12 years down the track. Still doing it.
What was the first video?
Oh, it's a shocker. I think the first video, it was pretty stupid actually. It was how to live to be 100 years old. And that was by eating my regular dose of cheese, tomato, and ham sandwiches.
Doesn't sound very DIY.
but it was on the work site. So, in this dirty, dingy old sandwich maker. But anyway, so I just started doing that. But that's how it all kicked off.
Yeah.
Doing that, yeah.
And for those who are tuned in today, what we might do at the end of this session, and feel free to throw questions in the chat box, but what we might do at the end of the session, we might give a bit of a roll of one of Knacker's old original videos, maybe one of his more recent ones. You can see the difference in the
things
in the tech.
They have progressed a bit since then.
I'm not going to do it straight away because it's too much tech and I don't want to throw everyone out of the Zoom room. But plus it's also, does it create and I've noticed in a couple of your videos, it's about stay till the end and I'll show you this, or stay. How important is it to create a bit of...
It's always, you need to get people to watch your videos for as long as possible, because that's how YouTube works. If you put out a video and people only watch the first 10 seconds, YouTube is not going to promote your video. So you've got to create something that keeps people watching to the very end of that video, so you get the entire duration of your video watched. So you always tease that there's going to be something great coming up.
Yeah.
And that's the key to a long video.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
How has YouTube changed, like 12 years ago when you first kicked off, compared to what it is now?
12 years ago, it was just open slather.
Yeah.
You could do whatever you really wanted to do. There wasn't much censorship.
Yep.
But these days, it's a bit more of a science. Because it's become so cluttered, if you don't be strategic in how you make your videos, you're not going to get viewed.
Yeah.
So that's probably the biggest change.
Yep.
Yeah.
But still a worthwhile venture if you've got the right content.
Definitely. Even if you're aren't using YouTube as a money-making venture, it's a great thing to do for your own business, to promote your business.
Yep.
And I think if you've got a business and like say you got a business selling cameras, right? So your business is selling cameras, but on your website or your YouTube channel, you could have tips and tricks on how to use various cameras. So then you become the expert. So people will then trust you. Then they go to your shop and buy your product.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And authenticity, how important, if you've seen Knacker's video, you'll know he's very much the same kind of guy in real life as on his videos. How important is it to be authentic in the videos that you do?
I think you've got to be authentic because people, especially on YouTube, they can see through fakeness in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
And YouTube is all about trust. And if people start to lose trust in you, well, they're not going to watch. So obviously, you've got to be yourself to a certain extent. You kind of need to ramp things up a bit.
Ham it up.
Ham it up a bit, just so people can continue to watch.
Yeah.
But if you don't be yourself and you intend to do this for a long period of time, it's going to be a grind.
Yeah.
So authentic.
Do you want to talk us through a bit about content in terms of do you plan ahead? How do you come up with content? How do you come up with ideas?
You kind of do need to plan ahead a little bit. In regards to getting ideas, because YouTube is very much a search-based platform, there's no point in doing anything that people aren't going to watch. Having said that, people watch anything these days, but if you do a search on a particular topic, you pick out the most searched items or the most search terms for that topic, and then you produce a video to go along those lines.
Yeah.
That's basically it.
And in terms of planning ahead, like, do you know what you're going to be doing in 6 months' time, or do you just make a decision of what you're going to do in 2 months' time? 2 weeks' time.
I used to do that. I don't do that so much these days. There's just so many things that you can actually do on YouTube. I don't think you need to plan too much, not unless you've got an actual series of videos that you plan to be doing.
Yeah.
Like I know, I think it was 7 years ago, I did a reno on our house. So I then had to actually plan the videos for each on how to build your own house. So I actually had to plan those videos out.
Yeah.
But apart from that, I don't do too much planning really.
Yeah. So you did a whole series on building your own home.
So I did a 52-part series.
Yeah, right. 52 parts. So what was that, a video a week?
So each step of the actual build, I showed you how to do that particular part of that build.
Yeah.
So and that took 52 videos to do that.
Yeah.
Which was an absolute mission.
Yeah.
Because you had to actually build it, then film it, go home, edit it, upload it, go to work the next day, do the same thing. So the actual build process took longer than it really should have.
Yeah.
But it was worth it.
And how did that compare, doing a big 50-part series compared to just doing a random DIY video? How was it good for viewership, and was it good for building subscribers?
It was good from the viewpoint of consistency.
Yeah.
So every week I was doing an actual video. But it was a pretty niche sort of thing. So other videos might get more views than how to build your own house, because there aren't that many people building their own house, right? Yeah. But as far as a money-making venture, it was excellent.
Yeah.
Due to sponsorships and things like that.
Yeah. And how important is content? There's probably people here today and watching the video who think, oh, I'm not ready for YouTube because I don't have the right equipment. But how important is content? Because when you look at your YouTube channel, the one that has the most hits,
yep,
I think is one of your original.
One of my original was how to unclog your toilet.
Yeah, well,
yeah.
So is content really the key? Like,
content is 100% the key.
Yeah.
You just got to pick stuff that people want to watch.
Yeah.
But really, there aren't that many people who are trying to make a living off YouTube, right? Most people just want to make stuff on YouTube to complement their business.
Yeah.
So it might not be that important to have the most compelling content in regard to what the majority of people want to watch. This might be appropriate to your particular business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it important to go and check out lots of other YouTube? Like, do you go and looking for inspiration, or do you just go down a rabbit hole when you do that? Is it more important to just kind of...
You know what a rabbit hole YouTube is. It's huge. But I do tend to look at the most popular guys who are doing the same stuff that I'm doing and just see how they produce their videos, how they produce their thumbnails, how they produce the headline for the thumbnail. I think that's really, really important. Otherwise, you'll be producing stuff that people don't want to watch or don't, just don't want to watch.
Yeah. You mentioned thumbnails. How important is a good thumbnail? You got some
thumbnails are the number one key, the absolute 100%. If you don't nail your thumbnail, people aren't going to watch your video.
You want to explain, in case anyone doesn't know what a thumbnail is? Do you want to just...
So the thumbnail is what you see when you're scrolling through your phone or your computer.
Yeah.
Got the old thumb scrolling away, and your thumb will only stop when you see something good.
Yeah.
So you got to make sure that your thumbnail looks good and is consistent with your brand to make people want to stop and click on it.
Yeah.
So colors, font, you've got to get your face on it, your ugly mug, you got to get that on the face of your thumbnail. So it's got to be compelling from that point of view, and it has to complement the headline that you put up with that thumbnail.
Yeah. A bit of shock value. There's a couple of yours there, like bloody thumbs.
Yeah. Shock value is always good. But if the shock value doesn't complement the video that you're making, well, people will turn off quickly. And if they turn off quickly, then YouTube doesn't like it. So they won't promote it. So you just got to be careful.
Yeah.
Really careful.
Can you talk us through with your thumbnails? What do you using something like Canva or?
I use PicMonkey. So PIC Monkey. PicMonkey. It costs me $200 a year. There is a free version, but it probably isn't good enough for doing thumbnails.
And is it a Canva-ish type of thing, or totally different or specific?
It's Canva-ish, but I just think it offers a lot.
Yeah.
I love it. I use PicMonkey for everything.
Yeah.
Like doing all your text and like taking away backgrounds and all that sort of stuff. It's brilliant. I love it.
Yeah. PicMonkey.
PicMonkey.
PicMonkey. PIC.
Yeah.
And do you want to talk us a little bit through a filming day? What's it into? Do you have a set structure and we've got a bit of gear behind us, and I might just get you to have a chat about what you've got in terms of gear as well.
Yeah. Well, as far as a filming day, it always starts off with a bit of angst because I'm thinking, oh God, I got to do another video. but once you get into the swing of it, it's always fine. It's just getting started is the actual hard bit. But before you even start the video, there's a fair bit of work behind, like scripting out or doing a storyboard of what you want to do. Like even though, well, this is what I normally do. I'll write out a script, something similar to that, and then I'll get some blue tack and I'll put it beneath the camera, just like that, with some points on it. So then I can watch or speak to the lens and just glance down occasionally to find out some points that I don't want to miss. And that makes shooting the video so much easier.
Yeah.
So much easier. But as far as the camera gear goes, you really don't need anything more than an iPhone.
Yeah.
Pretty much. An iPhone with a half decent microphone is all you really need.
External microphone?
External.
Yeah.
Because audio is king.
Yeah.
You've got to have good, decent audio.
Yeah.
Like if there's echoes in the background or it's, picks up cars going past or planes flying over, it's just really, really annoying. So you need decent audio. And with my machine here, I've just got a Rode Video Mic Pro, which just clicks on top of your camera. And this is my favorite because this microphone goes directly into your camera. So then you don't need to sync up the audio to your video. Whereas some audio things like a lav mic, You then need to sync up the audio from your lav to the vision coming out of your camera.
Yep. And if someone's using an iPhone, they can plug
a smaller version of one of these
Yep.
onto your iPhone.
Yep.
Yeah. And if you're going down the path of getting audio, Rode is a great.
Rode. Yep. RHODE.
RODE.
RODE.
Yep.
Yeah, we've got a great Claire Bath, great videographer across the road. And I remember Claire saying, you know, iPhones are great, but just make sure you get an external mic.
Yeah.
And Claire did recommend, I don't know whether it was Audio Technica. Claire did recommend quite a good quality one that was for under $100.
Yeah.
So,
well, these ones here will set you back about $300.
Yeah.
But they're really good.
Yeah.
Just make sure you're always checking on the back of it that the red light doesn't turn up.
Yeah.
Or show up. I know that I've done videos where I've just gone away, I've videoed for 3 hours, then turned around, I've noticed the red light on.
Yeah.
Which means it's not producing audio. So I wasted 3 hours.
Yeah.
So just make sure it's green and not red.
Yeah.
And then as far as the camera goes, like I've shot a lot of video on an iPhone, but then I progressed onto a DSLR camera. I've got a Canon 70D, which is it's a pretty old camera now. It's about 7 years old.
So how long since you've been using this?
4 years.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
But if you do get a camera and you're going down the DSLR range, make sure it's one that has a viewfinder on the actual side, so then you can see what you're filming, right? So you can just face that like that, so it's backwards, so then you can see what you're actually looking at.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas some cameras don't have that function.
Yeah.
So make sure it has that.
Yeah.
And it's now Black Friday. So the Black Friday sales, there's some fantastic sales at the moment.
Yeah.
For getting cameras.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to talk us through your lighting?
Lighting. So I basically use natural lighting. So I film in my garage. So I just put the garage door up and natural light comes in, which I find is the best light that you can get. But if you want to go down the lighting path, I do have one of these setups here, which is pretty good. Turn him on. So just get a couple of those facing towards you, and that gives you pretty good light.
And what's kind of money are you looking at for something like
that?
So
that's about $200 for a set of two.
Yeah.
But if you can get natural light, either from a window or a garage door, that's perfect.
Yeah.
Just because then you aren't dealing with shadows. Because I find with these lights here, I get some shadows, which are really annoying.
Yeah.
But natural light, you don't kind of get that.
Yeah. So are you filming like preferably mornings or afternoon?
I like mornings and late afternoon.
Yeah.
During midday, the sun's at a different sort of level and it comes in and kind of whites things out a bit.
Yeah.
So I wait till the sun goes down a fraction and then the light's more natural.
Yeah. It's comforting to hear you say you get a bit antsy before you go, because I mean you look super natural, comfortable in front of the camera. But is that the key to it, to just get in front of the camera, like to just get in, just do it?
And... No one likes getting in front of a camera. Everybody hates it. It's just like public speaking.
Yeah.
No one likes to do it. But the more you do it, the more comfortable you get.
Yeah.
And I think you just got to pretend that you're speaking to a friend, and that friend is that lens. So just pretend the lens is your friend's face and just talk to your friend. And that just makes it a bit easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what about challenges with filming? I can imagine you're filming in your workshop, neighbor kicks off the lawnmower and things like that.
Lawnmowers, planes flying over, guys tuning their cars. The worst thing about us right now is that 2 doors down, we're getting a house built. Across the road, we're getting a house built. So I've got blokes with nail guns and concrete saws and all sorts of things going on. So that's always a bit of a distraction and makes things difficult sometimes.
Yeah.
And birds.
And what do you do?
Lorikeets. Kill me.
You just got to deal with it. You just got to start again.
Some days some days are bad.
I actually noticed one of yours, and there was some beautiful bird life in the background. I thought it kind of added to the.
Well, there's bird life, and there's a swarm of lorikeets next door, which is this kills me. Yeah. So, and then people walking in.
Yeah.
Like my wife will come in or my son will come in. I think. So I've actually got on my garage door one of those light boxes. And on the light box, I've got a skull and crossbones on it with filming across the top. So people know I'm filming, do not come in.
Have you got any tips for getting comfortable in front of the camera? Are there certain, so, here in our offices here in Sawtell, Scotty Schindler, who owns our offices here, some of you may have seen some of Scotty's videos on LinkedIn. Scotty films out the back here. It's super bright. It's super white. I tried it and it was too bright for me. And I actually found in this corner here, it was not as bright. It was a bit more within my comfort zone. We've got a couple of comfy chairs over here, which I sometimes jump in if I'm doing some filming. You got some tips on are there things you can do to make the environment a bit more comfortable to get in front of the camera?
I just think if there are no distractions, for starters, so 0 distractions, and then before you start, just breathe, So sit down or get yourself comfortable and just breathe, and the video then comes out.
Yeah.
So, but like anything, it's just practice.
Yeah. Practice makes perfect.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about? Actually, we'll talk a bit about actual YouTube, the platform of YouTube.
Yeah.
Do you want to give a few tips? You got any insider tips on
how to get noticed on YouTube?
Yeah. What's more important, to build subscribers or build video views?
Video views.
Yeah.
Subscribers. It's always nice to have a large number of subscribers, but it's probably more of a vanity metric than a money-making metric. Because I know there's some guys who may only have 2,000 or 3,000 subs, and they're making a killing out of YouTube. Because they might be in a field like that. If you're in the financial field, the ad spend through AdSense, which is where we make our money, is way higher than the ad spend that is in my genre.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily necessary to have a large number of subs, but the more views you get, the more money you make.
Yeah.
Simple.
Yeah.
Is that? But YouTube itself, like I think there's 500 hours gets uploaded every minute of every day. So it's an incredibly crowded space. And everybody seems to be doing it these days, and you've just got to stand out. You don't stand out.
And how do you stand out? I think that who's your audience? Like, I assume the Uncle Knackers Aussie.
My audience.
I won't say Bogan.
No, you can say that. You can say that. Now, my audience is the car park at Bunnings.
Yeah. So
just your weekend DIYers.
Yeah.
So hence the name for the channel, DIY for Knuckleheads.
And Aussie, you got a big overseas
my biggest following is probably America.
Yeah.
Australia is probably second or third.
Yeah. Are you doing a Greek channel or something at the moment?
No, I'm doing a Spanish channel. I'm doing Spanish. Sí, señor. So that the Spanish channel is going particularly well, which is good.
Yeah.
I don't know why, because I'd never watch a dubbed video, but apparently the Spanish like watching them, so that's good.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the car park at Bunnings is my go-to market.
Yeah.
And I think when you make a video, you've got to speak to that market. You've got to speak their language.
Yeah.
And if you speak their language, you come across as more authentic. And I think that's the key to YouTube.
Yeah. Yeah, we often talk about who's your ideal client. Yeah, I think it's important, like especially
it's 100% important.
Yeah,
with YouTube.
Not to say you're not going to accept viewers who don't fit that mold, but
but you got to sort of cater to the majority.
Yeah,
and the car park from Bunnings is my majority.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guys, keep throwing questions in the chat. I know I haven't gotten to them yet, but we'll get to those questions soon. We'll go through them all. Video length, is there?
Video length is chopping and changing. So three years ago, it was you had to make a video that was 10 minutes long, right? But now that's changed because you got Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube Shorts. So they're all 60-second videos. So people are becoming acclimatized these days to a shorter length video. So the 10-minute, if you can stay engaged for 10 minutes, fantastic. But most people can't stay engaged for 10 minutes. When was the last time you watched a video for 10 minutes?
Yeah, I can't remember.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
But you'll watch one that goes for 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes. Yeah. So I think that's kind of what's happening. But the only issue there is that you're trying to make money from YouTube, so you want to throw in an ad. I know people hate watching ads, but it's just a fact of life. So once your video gets to 8 minutes, you can then throw an ad in the middle of your video.
So you can choose where the ad goes, or
you can. Personally, I couldn't be bothered doing that. I just let YouTube pick it.
Yeah.
But if it goes to 8 minutes, you can then throw in an ad in the middle, which is another revenue stream.
Yeah.
So you'll often see videos that are 8 minutes and 1 second long, or 8 minutes and 10 seconds long, right?
Yeah. Just
so they can get over that eight minute mark. But I'm now doing shorts, so that's a 60-second video.
Yeah.
Which is quite difficult because you've got to get everything across in 60 seconds, which is quite hard.
Yeah.
But I think that's where the format's going.
Can you explain a bit about shorts? Did shorts come about because YouTube are trying to
compete with TikTok?
Yeah. And can you explain a bit about shorts and how you're using it? Obviously, you can't teach someone how to build a house in a 60-second.
No, you can't. So what I've done now is that I'm just repurposing old content.
Yeah.
So I might have a video that's like 8 amazing tape measure hacks, right? So then I'll just go back to the 8 amazing tape measure hacks video, and I'll just take each hack and make each hack a 60-second short.
Yeah.
So I'm just rehashing old content, but it's still getting some traction on YouTube.
And you're trying to send them then on to your 10-minute videos.
That's right. So so the people will watch the YouTube short, and then that'll lead them onto the longer form format. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. So I do some guitar tuition with a great Glenn, great guitar teacher at Cost Guitar School. And quite often after he'll teach us a song and we'll go back and you'll YouTube it, as YouTube it so you can find it and learn a bit more about it. And we were learning one the other day, and I went back and typed it in, and a couple of gorgeous women with next to nothing on, but who could actually shred on the guitar, we're playing these songs. And maybe, have you ever thought about doing DIY in your budgie smugglers?
I actually want to get views, mate. I don't want to detract people. That'd be horrendous. But yeah, no, that happens a lot.
Yeah, and they're up to about 36 million views.
Yeah,
it's not
and there's a couple of creators in my space, in the maker community, and they've got some rather voluptuous women doing things with miter saws and stuff. And yeah. But anyway, it's
not Knackers style.
It's not my style, mate.
Posting. What about posting? Is it, how often are you throwing videos up? Are you doing it at a certain time of day, or does it not matter when it comes to YouTube?
Well, I just think as far as posting a video goes, the more you can post, the better it is for your channel. But it just depends. Like stuff that I do, one video might take 2 weeks to make it. By the time I actually figure out what I'm going to make, and then go through the making process, and then video the whole lot, it might be 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Whereas some guys are throwing out a video a day.
Yep.
So it just depends on what market you're focusing on.
Yeah.
But I always try for a Saturday night at 7 o'clock. That's normally my best time. So I think Saturdays, Sundays, and Wednesdays are the best days to post.
And is that always dependent on that ideal client? Obviously, you're
I think,
or do you think?
I think people are more inclined to watch a video on a weekend than a weeknight. So if I do a Saturday night, that's got the Australian viewers for a Saturday night and the American viewers for a Friday. So I think they're the best times for me. But really, it doesn't matter. I wouldn't fuss too much about it. YouTube these days is so smart. It just knows exactly what you've done and when to promote it.
When you look back on, I guess, all your videos, do you look back on your videos? Is it important to kind of see, some of them have got millions of hits, some of them not so many hits? Do you look back at them and think, well, okay, how come that had traction? How come this one didn't have traction? Do you have any thoughts around why certain ones have flown?
Well, sometimes you'll go out and make a video and you think it's a really good video. That worked out well. And it just gets crickets. Nothing, right? So it just depends entirely on search volume. Like my how to unclog a toilet is everyone who owns a house might go through that process, right? So it's a very searchable term. So that'll get a lot of traction. Whereas like how to make a coat rack or something like that, right? The search volume is only small, so you might only get 20,000 views on that. As opposed to 5 million views on how to unclog your toilet. So it just depends on what you're making.
Alternative income streams. I know we had a discussion recently. You've started to do plans that people can go and buy your plans for the stuff that you're building.
So primarily on YouTube, the income comes from AdSense, which is when YouTube throws an ad on your video. So people just need to watch it, and you'll get a small percentage, couple of cents or whatever.
There was a question in there about how much they pay you for your video. Do you want to are you able to elaborate on AdSense and how many cents you get per ad? Or
it just totally changes depending. Like if you're on a financial channel, you might get $45 for 1,000 views. Right? Whereas if you're doing a vlog style channel, you might get 50 cents for 1,000 views. So it just changes a lot. It changes a lot. So it just depends who is the person spending the money for that ad. Like financial companies spend truckloads of money, which is why financial channels on YouTube make a lot of money. So there's AdSense. So I'm getting AdSense from my English channel and then my Spanish channel, which gets all combined. And then I'm also doing plans these days, which I should have done years ago, but I didn't, which was stupid. So I make a project with the objective to driving people to buy a plan.
What do you charge for a plan?
$10.
$10.
I think it's $8.80, but by the time you get taxed, it's about $10 a plan. So $10 a plan isn't too much, but it's you're not pricing people out. So then I sell plans, which are going great at the moment. And then in that plan itself, I've got affiliate links to the products that I use to build that product. And then I've also started doing a power tools course. So I'm selling courses on how to use power tools. And then I put that link to the course in those plans so that they go through the plan and they get to the end and it's like how to use a circular saw course. So then they click on that. So you're getting 3 revenue streams from the one plan. And then I've got a thing called Buy Me a Coffee, which is great. So it's actually, I call mine Buy Me a Beer. And people can donate. Which is good. That works very, very well. And then beneath each video, you see a little heart thing, and that's called a super thanks. So people can click that, and then they can donate through that.
So, and just going back to the Buy Me a Beer or Buy Me a Coffee, so that's a set amount, as in they go through and they $5, or they just decide, I want to give $5 or $10?
So the basic cost is $5.
Yep.
And then people pay 20 beers.
Yeah.
Now, or 10 beers or 5 beers, 1 beer.
Yeah.
But that's working great.
Yeah.
That's really good. And then you can also make money out of sponsorship videos. Like when I was talking before about my Renault series, that 52-part series. So basically, I just approached all the companies of the materials that I was using, like the plasterboard, the insulation, a few other things, asbestos removal. So I just approached all those companies that I'd used for previous years that I like, love, and trust. So I wasn't promoting something that I wasn't comfortable with. I said, look, I'll promote your product if you give me that product.
Yeah.
And they said, cool. I thought, wow. So, I got eight tons worth of plasterboard got thrown in.
Yeah.
So got the insulation for the house all thrown in, asbestos removal, and all sort of stuff. So if you approach people in the right way, it can be quite profitable. Yeah. So it's good.
And plan wise, they're working well, as in $10 a pop. Are you selling a few of those?
$10 a pop. It's just consistent.
Yeah.
It's just day in, day out, seven days a week.
Yep.
So, well, like I said earlier, I wish I had it done earlier.
Yeah.
It's a shame.
Other social media channels. I know you're on Instagram. How important is it to be utilizing other social media channels to direct traffic to your videos?
Yeah, I think if you use Instagram, Facebook, those sorts of things, I don't know whether if you post something on Instagram converts to a YouTube view.
Yeah.
I think Insta is Insta, Facebook is Facebook.
Yeah.
And I don't think they don't really combine together. But the only thing good about it is that it gives you exposure.
Yeah.
So you throw up a video on Insta, at least there's exposure for you.
Yeah.
But I don't think it equates to a YouTube view. Because I think most people are either Insta people or YouTube people or Facebook people. Yeah, so the jury's out in that one.
Yeah. We haven't really spoken about editing. I can imagine the biggest time goes into the editing.
Huge.
Can you want to just talk a bit about editing, what kind of software you've used in the past, what you're using now, how you've gotten to that bit of software?
Yeah. So when you first start off, you don't need anything bought. Like if you've got iMovie, perfect, absolutely perfect. It's only when you're a bit more experienced and you want a few more features, then you might get a paid program. So I've gone from iMovie to Final Cut Pro, which is a $400 program, which isn't that much really when you consider it.
Yeah. When
you consider how much you use it, because I use it day in, day out. Yeah. So $400 is nothing really.
Yeah.
Well, we've got some people coming in here.
Yeah.
So there's Final Cut Pro. You can also use Adobe Premiere Pro. That's also a paid program. But as far as starting out, just go for something free.
Yeah.
Like an iMovie.
Yeah.
And as far as the editing goes, that's the biggest time suck of any video.
Yeah.
You spend hours and hours. Like you got to cut out background noise, cut out breathing, right? Because sometimes you might breathe and you breathe loudly.
Yeah. Which
is really weird.
Yeah.
So you got to cut out. So you've got your little spikes in your volume. So you got to cut out your little spikes where your breath and all that sort of stuff. And you got to cut out dead time, speed things up, slow things down. Yeah. Just takes a lot.
Yeah, and so it's obviously a natural progression. If you're starting out, you can almost do it for nicks in terms of free software,
for nicks.
Cheap lighting or with your phone.
Yeah.
So it's no excuse. The fancy equipment, fancy editing stuff isn't an excuse not to get started.
No, people go, I've got to go and get a camera. I've got to get a mic. I've got to get, but you don't. Just get your phone, which shoots in 4K, which is fantastic. Like this thing here doesn't shoot in 4K.
Yeah.
So a phone is all you need to get started. A phone and a tripod.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go through a few of the questions. We've got about 15 minutes to go, so I thought we'll go through a few questions. You kind of spoke a bit about YouTube royalties and how they work. You don't elaborate any more on that, is it?
On royalties?
Yeah, or just how you get paid through YouTube.
Yeah. It's just entirely YouTube is through AdSense.
Yeah.
And I've got no control over that.
Yeah.
It's just whatever Google decides to pay me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sarah just asked a question. How do you get your videos out to find new audiences? I'm interested to know where the Spanish channel, like, did you just decide that you were getting interest as in terms of a new audience? How did you get into that?
Well, Spanish is the second biggest speaking language in the world. It's huge. And then I actually got approached by a company in the UK who's got this AI program that can kind of simulate your voice in Spanish.
Yeah.
And they said, do you want to come over? We'll just take a certain percentage. Oh, yeah, cool.
They can simulate your voice. So
kind of.
Aussie Uncle Knackers is now talking.
It is Spanish. In Spanish. So that was totally an unexpected revenue source.
Yeah.
Totally. But once you start doing Spanish, then you might be able to go into Germany or Japan.
Where can we view your? I'm keen to see a bit of Spanish. Uncle Knackers. Where can we view? Are your Spanish ones available on YouTube?
Yeah. It's just I think it's en Spaniel DIY for Knuckleheads. So en Spaniel, I think it's called.
En Spaniel.
En Spaniel, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
make sure you check them out, guys. Yeah. Maggie's asking, how do you research your video topics? How many do you schedule, post every day? Consistency is no doubt important. You've kind of touched on it a bit, but do you want to?
I just look up the most popular topics. So I'll go into Google and say it's like something like how to build a kitchen table, right? Mm-hmm. So I'll go to Google itself and type into Google how to build a kitchen table, and then there'll be a series of suggested words, and then you'll click on those and you'll see which one's got the most traffic, and you'll go down that path.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So just go down to all the like Google does all the work for you. Just click on the word and just populates all the most popular terms for that word, and then pick a video which you feel comfortable with, and it's getting a lot of traction.
Yeah. And in terms of, I know the kids were getting into a bit of mountain biking recently, and you had one there about how to build a jump ramp or something. So what do you do there? You just go to Google, you build up a little prototype first, and then
I wanted to build a little ramp for the kids, me included, and then found out the most popular type of video for doing ramps, and then made my own.
Yeah.
To cater for that ramp building genre. And it was great. It was good, really good. And it turned out fantastic.
Yeah.
It's a great little ramp.
Yeah.
Get on that.
So Billy, your son, is he gotten involved? Is he got an interest in following Dad's footsteps?
He and his mates have made a couple of videos, and they're pestering Dad to get a YouTube channel. I think it's a bit too young yet to be getting involved, because YouTube can be a bit toxic.
Yeah.
And especially, I think, with kids, it can get a bit toxic. Kids can be a bit cruel and cutting.
Yeah.
So I don't think you need to be exposed just yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I also think you've got to have a bit of a thick skin with YouTube.
Yeah. How do you go with that? Like, do you get negative comments? Do you take on those negative comments, or do you just totally ignore the chat stuff? Or
well, like you said, so I've had roughly 40 million views, right? And I respond to every single comment.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of comments.
Yeah.
In 40 million views. And then but if you get one that's obviously someone trying to bait you, you just don't throw fuel on that fire.
Yeah.
Just as much as you'd love to go back and just just ignore it. And after a while, you developed a skill not to take that to heart.
Yeah.
But luckily mine are 99.9% great comments.
Yeah.
But there is 0.01% that can be a bit nasty.
And it can be hard not to focus on those
negative,
as in, you know, you can have a whole bunch of positive, but then it can be hard not to focus sometimes on those negative, you know, whether it's YouTube or TripAdvisor or whatever it is.
Well, yeah, on TripAdvisor. Well, you can have 1,000 fantastic comments and then one bad one, and you can't stop thinking about it all day. You think, oh, what am I going to write to this bloke? But you just got to ignore it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just don't buy into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sarah threw one in there. How'd you learn about the technical aspects of recording, you know, syncing audio to video? Is it just trial and error? Is it?
It is 100% trial and error. I have trouble turning a computer on, let alone doing a video and all sort of stuff. So it's just trial and error. And as far as syncing audio to video, I'd be absolutely useless at doing that. Plus it takes a lot of time to do that, which is why I've gone for the microphone on top of the camera, so everything's synced together. It just does away with one step.
Yeah.
But it's just trial and error. I've done so much editing now. I kind of don't even need to look at the keyboard.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. But that just takes time.
Yeah.
Like anything.
Yeah. And Kristen asked about the light. What was the light called?
It's called, I think it's Vimmer. VIMMER, something like that. Vimmer. You can get it on Amazon. Yeah. But you get a set of 2 for a couple of $100.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there is a light over, I don't know if you guys can see it, over behind Knackers, there is another light kind of leaning up, which, you know, I think Scotty picked up a couple of really cheap, you know, from somewhere, local electrical store or somewhere like that. So there's, you know, if you're starting to think a bit more seriously, there's still cheap ways you can kind of get in and test it out too.
Yeah. And it's also a lot of lights, like those ring lights that you put behind your camera, which shine a light directly on your face. Yeah. So they're good if you're doing a talking head video.
Yeah.
But you also got to remember that if you're doing a talking head video, they can get boring pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So you got to zap things up a bit.
Yeah.
Like every 3 to 5 seconds, something's got to happen.
Yeah.
Whether you zoom in or you put text across it or do something.
But so sorry, what did you say? Every how many seconds?
Between 3 to 5 seconds.
Yeah.
You just got to try and just like either zoom in or put some text across the screen. But just a talking head to a camera is boring.
Yeah.
And people these days, their attention span is so small.
Yeah.
So you just got to keep things going.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Chop things up.
What other ones have we got? Yeah, so we had a question there from Kristen just asking why Spanish and not another language, but I think you kind of said it was
because it
just came about.
Yeah, it's the second biggest most spoken language.
Yeah. And Sarah just made a comment, interesting on YouTube. I like videos that are 10 to 30 minutes, probably because I'm watching them on the smart TV. On other platforms, I scroll, so I have shorter attention span.
Yeah.
I guess, is that the thing? Some people are buying smart TVs and YouTube instead of watching normal TV or Netflix, they're consuming.
Heaps of people are.
Yeah.
Heaps.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
You got Mike's just asked, have you got three top tips to get started in terms of uploading your first video? And I think I said to you, I was going to ask you, what are your top 3 tips?
My top 3 tips. Well, number 1 is just do it.
Just do it.
Just do it. Don't worry about perfection.
Yeah.
Which is it's a bit of a scourge. Perfection.
It's interesting. I think, was it not Bezos? Maybe it was a guy who started LinkedIn. I think he said, if you're not embarrassed by the first iteration of your product, you started too late.
That's right. Yeah, exactly.
And I like that comment because when I look back on some of my stuff, I think, that was really crap. But then it's a bit of comfort knowing
that's exactly right. Exactly right. Yeah. So there's no need to be perfect.
Yeah.
So just start. Have a look at examples of thumbnails on YouTube of a similar topic that you're talking about. And kind of, if you're just starting off, copy it. Just copy it. Like copy the most popular ones because they're popular for a particular reason, and that's people have watched it, and they've watched it because they've stopped scrolling because they've seen a really good thumbnail.
Yeah.
So do that, and I think just try, and that's hard, but just try and enjoy the process. Because actually, once you put a video out, you feel quite proud of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did that. So just try and enjoy the process, and things will flow.
We were talking the other day about that, finding the fun. And I know through some social media stuff I've done, sometimes you're really racking your brain and you're trying to drag something out. And when you do that, I feel like it doesn't get traction. But if you're having fun, if you're having a laugh while you're doing it, I feel like the posts I've done in the past where I've had a laugh and enjoyed it, I feel like they've gotten the most traction.
That's right. Yeah, 100%. 100%. But yeah, just look, you can't go past, I know I kept on talking about it, but you can't go past a good thumbnail and a good headline. Like you might have the best book written ever. The best book is so good. But if your cover's crap, people go to the bookshop and I'll walk straight past it, even though it's this awesome content. So you just got to try and stop people from doing that. Stop that scroll. Yeah. Which is why it's really important.
Yeah.
And do a bit of copywriting skills.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is really important.
Copywriting in terms of just your little...
Just words
your little blurb underneath? Or...
the actual headline that accompanies the actual thumbnail. So just Google triggering phrases or triggering words.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the whole heap of words will come up that make people stop and click.
Yeah. What kind of words?
Avoid, you know, stuff like that.
Avoid these things.
Avoid these things, you know, or mistakes, word mistakes. You know, people love mistakes. Oh, what mistake has he made? Yeah. So like say for example, I did this video once and it was how to make a folding workbench, right? Yeah. And the headline was like the amazing folding workbench for small workspaces. So people who have got small workspaces go, oh, I've got a small workspace and this is amazing. So, and then the thumbnail says folds to 7 inches. So the text on the thumbnail accompanied the headline and the two work together. And it's just, I'll click on that. Yeah. And so you just got to try and synergize things. Yeah, yeah. You know? Yeah.
Get creative. Yeah. Michelle just asked, if you have a series of videos like the one where you did all 52, should you look to post them all at once, or is it just about that slow feed out?
Slow feed.
Yeah.
Because people are bombarded with stuff, like bombarded.
Yeah.
They've got their Instagram and their Facebook and TikTok, just bombarded. Yeah. So if you're continually bombarding people with stuff, they just get bored with you. Yeah. But you got to look forward to your next show. Yeah. I remember back in the day watching telly, and there's a show at, it might have been a country practice at 7:30 at night, right? So, but you were looking forward to that every Wednesday at 7:30. Yeah. So you want people to look forward to your stuff coming up. Yeah. But if you're bombarding people time and time again, they're just going to get bored with you. Yeah. They get bored really quickly. Yeah.
So I've got a question here. Is it possible to make a living just off the videos, or is it really about diversifying a couple of those income streams?
You have to diversify. A couple of years ago, you could have been on AdSense totally. That's fine. But the last couple of years, the AdSense spend, because there's so many people doing it, it's only it's only a certain amount of dollars there. So once upon a time, the dollar value was there, whereas now it might be down to here. Yeah. Because it's spread out across so many more people. Yeah. So it's hard to make a living entirely out of AdSense. Yeah. You need to diversify. Yeah. And you also need to diversify in case YouTube goes belly up. Right? So you can't have all your eggs in the one basket.
Because buy Uncle Knackers a beer or buy Uncle Knackers a coffee, is that a part of the YouTube, is that platform, or is that a separate thing that you've bought into?
No, it's a separate thing, and I just link it.
To what platform?
YouTube.
Yep.
But also it's
as in, sorry, what platform are they going to when they pay you $5 or $10?
So Buy Me a Coffee uses Stripe.
So there is an app. Sorry, there's an app called Buy Me a Coffee.
Yeah, Buy Me a Coffee. Yep, it's a website.
Yep.
So just join up to that, and then that'll link. So you just put that link on your videos. But it's a bit of a double-edged sword because YouTube doesn't want you to get off their platform.
Yeah.
So if you're directing people to your plans or to Buy Me a Coffee, you're taking people off YouTube.
Yeah.
Which can actually harm your videos.
Mm.
Right. So it's a double-edged sword. Like, do you make more money with your plans and you Buy Me a Coffee, or do you keep people on YouTube to grow your channel?
So even if it opens in a new window and the YouTube's still open, it's
taking you off YouTube.
Yeah.
So your goal,
and they recognize that.
Oh, mate, YouTube is just their AI is mind-blowing.
Yeah.
So their goal is you want to get people to watch as much video, as much of a video as they possibly can, to then redirect them to another video of yours.
Yeah.
And that's the only way you'll grow on YouTube.
Yeah.
But if you're diversifying a bit, it can kind of harm you to a certain extent.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tricky.
I have a really old, so Faye just said, I've got a really old channel. I only uploaded a few videos. Is it better to scrap that and start a whole new one?
No.
Just
keep it.
Views versus time will be terrible. So just keep it and
just keep it.
Work it.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. All right. Well, we're right on 12. We're going to wrap it up right on 12. If anyone wants to hang around quickly, I'll test out my tech ability. We might just quickly run about 2 minutes of one of your original ones. And we might just run 2 minutes of one of your new ones and just see the difference. If you've got to jump out, guys, it's 12 now. I understand you've got to jump out. But we'll just see if we can jump into one of those. Share sound. Hopefully you guys can hear the sound. So here we go with one of Knackers.
That's kind of what I knew. Project. Check it out. What an absolute...
I love it. Summertime's a great excuse to go outdoors and play a few games, which was the inspiration for this project. To build a pool table that you can take outdoors, that is portable, hangs up on the wall for storage, and wait for it, it rotates. Yep, you heard right, it rotates. And why does it rotate? Well, you better stay tuned to find out why. Let's go. Now, the first thing we need to do is to cut the plan surface to size. Now,
I've got myself a sheet of plywood.
All right, how about we go back to the original, or one of the original. And then this is your most popular one, even despite being one of the older ones.
That's because how to unclog your toilet. Yeah. Oh my God.
G'day, Knuckleheads. Uncle Knackers here, and welcome to video 8 of my 10-part series titled My Top 10 DIY Tips as nominated by you. And today I'm going to show you how to easily unclog a toilet without using a plunger. Check it out. Ooh, had a curry last night. Absolutely beautiful. Unfortunately, it's come at a cost. Check this out. A totally blocked up toilet.
Very good.
Disgusting.
So there you go, guys. You can check out some of Uncle Knacker's stuff, DIY for Knuckleheads. Obviously, the last one we watched was one of your original ones, but still the most.
Yeah.
I think it's still your most viewed video, and just goes to show content. Some pretty good jokes, going on in those videos.
No, it's just content, right?
Yeah,
content that people. I think if you can solve someone's problem, that's good content.
Yeah. So anyway, it's 12 o'clock.
All right.
We might wrap it. I think we kind of got through most of the questions there, I think. So yeah, Entrepreneur Fest, sorry, there was a question. It does finish up tomorrow. I mean, the facilitators who are running these events, we're doing events all year round. This is kind of our big week. So I think it's aealliance.com.au. If you jump on there, you can find that what ones are left to go tomorrow. But yeah, thanks very much for tuning in. Big thanks to Uncle Knackers.
No worries.
Keep an eye out. Alt Collective, we're running events here out of our Sawtell office, but also up and down the coast. We're also doing some online stuff. So
Cool.
Thanks again, guys. We will make the video available if you want to watch it again or you want to share it around, and stay tuned for our next one.
Cool.
Cheers, guys.
Thanks, mate.
Thanks, Knackers.
Cheers.
See yous.
Cheers.